This has to do with crappy people. I'll say it myself. You're an ass. Don't be an ass. It's that easy. Hey guys, how's it going? I hope you're doing well. You can tell from the title and the thumbnail and whatnot that I have something, I guess, a little bit more serious to talk about, if you can take me seriously. But I basically just want to talk about Kindle Unlimited and how there's some stuff that we're doing as readers that we might be thinking is a good thing that turns out is actually kind of a detriment to the authors on KU. So I just wanted to give you guys some tips, make you aware of kind of how Kindle Unlimited actually works, so we can be the best readers that we can be if you're someone who utilizes Kindle Unlimited. Because we don't want to hurt these authors. I'm sure, like me, you guys have some favorite authors off of there. There's people on there that I have no idea how they're not professionally published. They're so incredibly talented. Specifically, I'm just gonna do a quick little shout out here. Erin Ver, she wrote How to Train Your Goblin King. Literally my favorite book of all time. I've never had a book affect me like this. It's just like so cute and whimsical and sweet, and it's funny. But literally I finished it and I felt like I could immediately start rereading it. Huge props, highly recommend. You should go check it out. It's on Kindle Unlimited, but it's also a very pretty book, so I highly recommend you buy it. But anyways, she's the reason why I wanted to learn how Kindle Unlimited work and how I could be like basically the best reader that I could in order to get her the most amount of money. And that's when I found out that there's certain things that I'm doing that you likely are too that can basically get them kicked off the platform. So we should change that. But I just want to say that I'm not trying to tell you that you shouldn't use Kindle Unlimited. I'm not saying Kindle Unlimited is bad. There's pros and there's cons, and we will definitely go over it. But if you want to use another subscription, totally cool. But I'm going to continue to use Kindle Unlimited. That being said, firstly, Kindle Unlimited is like the widest reader base. So if you're an author, it's great to be on there, especially when you're an indie author and you don't have your own sort of following yet. This is going to be the perfect location, if you will, to get the most amount of readers' eyes on your work. Secondly, anyone and everyone can actually upload their work on there. So it doesn't matter if you're a professionally published author or if you're someone who's just starting out. Maybe this is your first book, maybe it's your fifth book, whatever it might be. Anyone can get on there. But the other thing that's really cool is that Amazon versus some other subscriptions, they offer the ability for you to have a physical copy of your book now. They can do the whole printing process for you. So you don't just offer an ebook, you also have the physical option. That's really cool. I like having physical books. I'm not gonna lie. I love reading off my Kindle, but I also love having physical options. I love book art. I really freaking do. Book covers is like my jam. But lastly, they also offer marketing to help across the KU platform, help get your book in front of readers' eyes, especially people who are really going to enjoy your particular type of work. So KU has a lot of huge perks. Are there cons as well? Hell yeah. There's some requirements that are questionable and the pay is not necessarily great, but us as the reader can work against that if we know how the damn platform works. So hence this video, let's actually just get into it now, okay? Let's get into these tips. So talking about the pay, our subscription, our fee, it's what, $12 or $13 now? It recently went up. That money essentially goes into a pot and a larger portion will go to the authors who are basically more successful on the platform, but also there's an amount of money that goes to each page read. That's just kind of a general understanding of how it works. But talking about the each page read, this is where you're gonna look at me and be like, are you freaking serious, Maggie? Each page is less than half a penny. I'm gonna say that again. They don't even get a whole penny. They get less than half a penny per page read. And the thing is there's an asterisk here because Amazon actually knows how quickly you read. They understand your average reading rate. So let's say you start to skim, maybe you're just not feeling a book entirely. You want to still finish it, but you're just not invested, so you're kind of skimming or you're just reading very, very quickly. Maybe you're skipping sections. Maybe you're someone who doesn't want to read a sex scene. So you jump ahead. All of those pages where you're not at your average speed are no longer counted at all. They're not even going to get a fraction of that half a penny, less than half a penny really. So that's kind of a bummer. They also jump you ahead in a book. I don't know if you noticed this, but they don't start you at the title page. So feel free to definitely move back to the title page, look it over, their dedication page, things like that. Oftentimes is skipped over. So definitely go back and check those out. But I'm not going to tell you that you need to slow down, not skim, not jump. I'm just telling you to be aware of it. And more specifically, the biggest thing I care about that will make you a better reader is if you have it in your mind, you have the best of intentions, and you're thinking, oh, well, I just want to get to the end. I want it to count as that I've read it, so that way the author's going to get their money. Don't do that. That's actually one of the worst things that you can do, which I have done. They actually think that you're a bot at that point because Amazon knows your average reading rate. So they blame the author for this, which is the bummer. Amazon has a tendency to blame the author, which is very, very unfortunate. But essentially they think that the author bought a bot, or they bought a bot. They purchased a bot farm to go through these books quickly to artificially basically increase their pages read. So they will actually kick them off of the platform. Or what they do is they kind of put a freeze on their account where during this time when they're doing their investigation, people can still read the work, but whatever was read during that time of the investigation is not going to be reimbursed back to the author. Even if they find like, oh no, that wasn't you, that money is just lost. Amazon takes all of it. So that's unfortunate. So definitely make sure you're doing the things that isn't going to get them kicked off the platform or get them a frozen account. So don't jump ahead. Don't just jump to the end. Don't quickly move through. That can be a big problem. Speaking about these bots, speaking about technology, AI. So I mentioned the whole thing about anyone and everyone can get onto the platform. This kind of sucks because, as I mentioned before, with our money kind of goes into this pot, and the authors who are doing the best are having these like tons of different reads and whatnot. A lot of times they can be these AI written books, which you may have your own opinions on AI. I think it's great technology, but it's very detrimental to creators and artists and writers and all sorts of stuff. But there's these artificial books, if you will, that are absolute crap, but they have bot farms that are going through and reading these books to rank up their views very quickly and also to rank up their reading page. A lot of times you can see these because the titles are just crap. It's not a real title at all, and the covers is terrible, but you'll have things like, we'll say the title is just going to be a bunch of keywords where it's like age gap, steamy romance, diverse, fantasy romance, dystopian, fairy human love triangle. I don't know. But it's a bunch of just random keywords. Don't click on those. Don't give them the time of day. The thing that's just kind of shitty about this is the reason why that rate of page read is going down. Even though our subscription went up, the authors are actually starting to get paid less. That sucks. But a lot of that has to do with there's these AI books out there that are going in and artificially ranking. So just try to ignore those books. That's the best thing that I can give there. But on that sort of note, another thing that happens, and this doesn't have to do with bots, this just has to do with crappy people, but pirating. This is another thing where you're kind of like, oh yeah, but that's not the author's fault. Amazon will blame the author. So please don't be the type of person who scours the internet for a free PDF of someone's book who's offered on Kindle Unlimited. Please pay for the subscription, or please utilize the library if you're not able to pay for this subscription. That's totally understandable. Utilize the library. See if there's any of those free little library like mailboxes sort of things, or go to your standard library, whatever it might be. But don't use these PDFs because people are pirating these books, and Amazon treats it as basically the author is doing this because, unfortunately, one of the requirements of using Kindle Unlimited is your book has to exclusively be on KU. It can't be on any other platforms. Now, the key thing here is that doesn't mean forever. It just means for 90 days. So there are strategies that authors can utilize to make it work out the best for them and get on multiple platforms. But because of this exclusivity term of where it can only be on KU, as soon as they basically scour the internet, because Amazon has their own bots, as soon as they find that the PDF is freely available on the internet, they blame the author, freeze the account. Again, when it's frozen, any reads that happen during that time, and these are not quick investigation, guys, the author doesn't get that money. So please don't be an asshole and pirate books. I'll say it myself. You're an ass. Don't be an ass. It's that easy. But anyways, moving on. Something else that you might be doing thinking that you're helping the author is any typos that you guys see, don't report them. you think you're reporting them to the author. I thought the same thing, but it just goes to Amazon. And as soon as they rank up enough of these, then basically Amazon just kicks them off. Period, end of story. Trying to say that like, oh, you're a shitty author, so your book can't be up here. And a lot of times the typos that we think are, or the stuff that we think are typos really aren't. There's other countries who spell things differently than us Americans. So that's likely not even a typo. Or I totally understand when you can glaringly see that this grammar is not great. Again, anyone and everyone is allowed on the platform, which is great. I don't think that's a bad thing, but grammar can definitely be a part of it. Just don't report it. Okay, like reach out to the author yourself. Don't go through Amazon. Okay, a lot of times on the actual author's page on Amazon, there's a link to their other social media or their own website, or you can just search up their name on like Instagram. Reach out to them there. Please, for the love of God, do not actually send it to Amazon, especially for those books. Like my girl, Erin Ver, the book that I mentioned for How to Train Your Goblin King, the spelling is more British spelled. So there's definitely things that there was a U where I'm not used to there being a U, but it's not wrong, okay? And I don't want her book taken off the platform because it's freaking phenomenal. But anywho, the last thing that I wanted to state was that before I actually get into all the things you can do to help your authors, the last thing I wanted to state was that they only get paid for the first time you read a book. So if you have a 200-page book, again, less than half a penny per page read. If you have a 200-page book, that's only 80 cents. So, and that's for one time. And let's say you know you're going to reread a book, like me, my How to Train a Goblin King. What I'd recommend, so we'll start getting into all the pro things that you can do for an author, but what I'd recommend is that you go buy the book. If you're able to, if you have the money to spend, buy the book, have it on your shelf. You can reread it as much as you want. The amount of money that they get when they sell an actual physical copy is way higher. Okay. They get 60% of the cost of whatever their physical copy is. Most books on Amazon right now, it seems like it's kind of around $17. So 60% is essentially $10. Huge freaking difference. So if you can do that, that greatly, greatly helps the author. But let's say you're somebody who can't, you don't have that disposable money. You're paying for KU because that gives you the most amount of books per month because you can't just buy all these physical copies. Totally understandable. If there's another way that you want to help authors, you can do a variety of things. One, let's say you really enjoy their work. You definitely know you want to read their future stuff. Reach out to them, whether it's Instagram, whether they have email, or whether they have their own website on their actual author page. Reach out to them and see if you can become an ARC reader. That's incredibly beneficial. One of the absolute biggest things that you can do is leave a review. And this is something I need to get better at. Yes, have my YouTube channel where I talk about books, but I need to be much better about putting a review on Amazon and Goodreads. I have a Goodreads. I don't really use it. I'm terrible at it. So I need to be better because this is actually one of the best freaking things you can do is leave a review. It's kind of like on YouTube where like if you hit the like button or if you hit the subscribe button, that helps a lot because then it kind of puts like us creators, it tells YouTube to put us in front of more people who don't know who we are yet. It's the same thing for reviews on like Goodreads or Amazon. As soon as you leave a review, especially a really good review, I believe, then they start putting that book in front of people more. That's where that marketing side that KU does definitely helps because then they'll start to market it towards other people. So leave your reviews across multiple platforms if you can, but even if it's just one, leave it on Amazon. But if you can go across like Instagram, Goodreads, Amazon, whatever there might be, Reddit, please do that. Basically, spread the freaking word, babe, okay? You can do your word of mouth marketing for the authors that you love. But also, like, follow the author profile. So when you go onto Amazon and you go onto the profile, you should be able to click follow. So that way you're going to kind of get any little news of any, like, upcoming releases that they're going to have, or, like, the little things of, like, what books they recommend. Following their profiles, honestly, across other platforms as well. So, like, Instagram, if you can find them on there, or Facebook, whatever it might be, those are great. Go check out their websites. Not all of them will have their own, but go check out their websites, see if they have newsletters. You might be able to learn from there if you could be an ARC reader, or there's going to be chances of like polling or when they're going to be releasing new books, different things like that. That's really great for them. And then lastly, you can like make fan art. That's really cool. Post it on Reddit, post it on Pinterest, post it on Instagram at the author. That's going to help just kind of get the word out. It really is beneficial seeing people like their stuff because it just kind of spreads, and that sort of attitude towards a book is very addicting and contagious. So like if I'm excited about something and you're watching me, a lot of times most people are going to start to feel whatever the person in front of them is kind of giving out. So if someone's sad, then you kind of start to feel sad. But if someone's like super excited and happy and just want to tell you so much about their favorite freaking book, which is by Aaron Burr called How to Train Your Goblin King, you start to be like, maybe I should read that. I think maybe I'll like it. So having fan art, having those reviews, just honestly, like even if you made a reel on Instagram or a short on YouTube of just gushing over a book, that's so helpful. So there's a lot that you can do to kind of counteract some of the crappy stuff on KU. Anyways, that's really it. Those are what I have for KU and how you can be a better reader. If you guys have anything else, please let me know down below. Let other people know. But those are the stuff that I know right now that I researched. So anyways, I'm sure you're a better reader now. You are already a great reader, but now you can be even better. But anyways, I hope you guys are doing well, and I'll catch you later. Bye.